Imagine a moment where your whole world shifts in an instant, dear listener. Picture this. A man in his early 30s, steady and hardworking, standing on the brink of what should be the happiest chapter of his life, buying a home with the woman he plans to marry. The air is filled with the quiet excitement of future plans, the scent of fresh possibilities lingering like morning dew on a new lawn. But then, hidden words drift through an open window, carrying a chilling truth that shatters everything. He overhears her secret scheme, to claim the house solely in her name, only to divorce him soon after, leaving him heartbroken and empty-handed. The betrayal cuts deep, like a sudden storm ripping through a peaceful garden, uprooting trust and dreams in one cruel gust. Yet in that pain he finds a quiet strength, a resolve to protect himself. He cancels the house deal without a word, letting the pieces fall where they may. And then he orchestrates a gathering of both families, a dinner meant for celebration, but instead it becomes the stage for an unforgettable revelation. She walks in unaware, her smile bright and expectant, only to face the unraveling of her own web in front of everyone she knows. The room grows heavy with shock, the clink of silverware silenced by gasps and whispers. Emotions swirl like leaves in the wind, confusion, anger, sorrow, all laid bare under the soft glow of restaurant lights. This isn't just a story of deceit. It's a tale of awakening, of recognizing when love has turned into something hollow, and finding the courage to step away before it's too late. As we journey through this heartfelt account together, you'll feel the weight of each decision, the sting of hidden intentions, and the quiet triumph of reclaiming one's peace. It's a reminder that sometimes, the hardest choices lead to the clearest paths forward. Stay with me as we unfold every layer of this emotional experience, drawing you into the raw humanity of it all. If this resonates with you, or if you're joining us for the first time, I encourage you to subscribe right now. Hit that button and become part of our warm community where we share stories that touch the soul. You won't want to miss the depth and details that await. I'm a man of 33, holding down a steady job as a manager in distribution for a company that handles freight across the region. My days are spent ensuring that trucks stay on course, delivering goods from one place to another without any unnecessary detours that could stretch journeys far beyond what's needed. It's straightforward work, not filled with sparkle or excitement, but it provides a reliable income of around $98,000 each year. That's enough to build a secure life, step by step, without the flash but with real substance. My fiancée, at 29, held a position coordinating social media for a chain of juice bars that seemed to price their drinks sky-high, like $18 for a simple mix of greens. Her yearly earnings came to about $52,000, yet her spending habits suggested she lived in a world of much greater wealth. Everything about her centered on her online presence, particularly her Instagram page with its 4,200 followers, where she presented herself as if overseeing a vast digital realm. She'd share images of her daily looks, labeling them with relaxed notes about weekday feelings, though it was clear she'd invested hours in preparation. There were pictures of meals accompanied by long reflections on drawing and prosperity, self-portraits paired with uplifting sayings likely borrowed from elsewhere, all the hallmarks of someone starting out in that digital spotlight world. She'd often draw parallels between herself and well-known figures in fashion. For instance, she'd mention sharing facial features with someone like Bella Hadid, though the resemblance wasn't truly there. Or she'd express confidence in striding down catwalks if she chose to shift her focus that way. She'd even claim her interactions online surpassed those of famous people, perhaps because a few loyal supporters, like family members or automated accounts, stayed so engaged. We first crossed paths 4 years back in a cozy coffee spot in Atoria. I was there during my midday break, tapping away on my computer when she approached and inquired if the chair opposite mine was free. The cafe buzzed with people, leaving few options. I welcomed her to sit, and soon we were chatting freely about all sorts of things. Her charm shone through, light and humorous, with a spark that turned ordinary moments into something brighter. When she shared her aspirations to create content online, I listened without judgment. Instead, I offered help, guiding her through starting a video channel, showing her simple ways to edit clips, and giving thoughts on her written posts. I stood by her pursuit because seeing her content brought her joy, and that seemed reason enough. The first year together felt right and easy. We connected deeply, introducing each other to our families, weaving our lives together in a way that brought warmth and comfort. In the second year, her focus on social media grew from a casual interest into something that shaped her entire way of being. She began referring to herself as a creator of content, reaching out to companies for partnerships, facing turndowns each time but persisting with quiet determination. Her videos drew modest views, around 40 each, many likely from her own reviews of the work. By the third year, I found myself offering reasons to overlook the growing intensity, reminding myself that everyone has passions. Some gather small treasures like stamps, others capture endless images of simple things like a morning drink. I continued to encourage her, stepping in as her photographer, patiently repeating shots until she felt they captured her best side. In the fourth year, I decided to ask for her hand in marriage. It wasn't driven by overwhelming passion at that stage, but more by the natural progression of our time together. We'd shared so many days, got along well in most ways, and our families had grown familiar. It seemed like the sensible next move. I chose the spot of our initial proper outing, a welcoming restaurant, and during the sweet course I knelt and presented the question. Tears came to her eyes as she agreed. But right away, she requested another photo of the moment because a small flaw in her manicure showed in the first. For days after, she shared the news online, various views of the jewelry, arrangements with blooms, her fingers resting on me to display both the symbol and our connection, with words about discovering a true partner and calling in genuine affection. Her online circle expanded to 4,600 people, and her happiness radiated through it all. Soon after, conversations turned to finding a home. We each paid for separate living spaces, she in a small shared unit where tensions with her companion often arose, me in a comfortable single bedroom in Forest Hills. By pooling our resources, we could step into ownership, creating something lasting and building value over time. It felt like a mature choice, a way to invest in our shared tomorrow. I'd set aside funds carefully over 6 years, gathering about 85,000. Her savings amounted to around 12,000. Together, it was enough to move forward. We explored options in Queens and settled on a modest 3-bedroom home in Bayside, one that called for some surface updates but stood strong in its foundation. The asking price sat at 470,000. Our approach was clear. Combine what we had, include both our names on the ownership papers, and divide responsibilities fairly, despite the difference in our contributions. In the end, with marriage ahead, it all blended into ours anyway. What belonged to one would belong to both. We put forward our interest, and it was welcomed. The final steps were set for 2 months later. Her joy overflowed, spilling into constant shares online. Images of the properties outside, thoughts on color choices, affirmations that positive thinking brings results, all tied to visions she'd collected digitally. Her audience grew to 5,100, and she marked every update with tags about embracing the life of a property owner, even before any documents were complete. Just 3 weeks prior to finalizing at the financial institution, I uncovered the truth of her intentions. And believe me, they extended no further than securing the property. My role ended there. The day was an ordinary Tuesday in mid-autumn. I'd arranged for a shorter workday to organize our papers for the upcoming appointment, gathering statements and forms to ensure smoothness in the process. Around midday, she'd messaged that some companions would visit my place, promising they'd depart before my return near evening. It seemed fine. She had access after all. I wrapped up my tasks by early afternoon and made my way back sooner than planned, thinking of rest and perhaps a simple meal. As I settled into my usual spot outside, I reached for my device to let her know of my arrival. But sounds from above caught my ear. The window stood ajar and voices carried down clearly. I paused, ready to step out, when my own name echoed in the air. I'm telling you, once that house is in my name, I'm done with him. I went still, fingers gripping the handle, the vehicle humming softly. That was her voice, clear and certain. You're really doing it. Another tone, likely her close companion from school days, Taryn. Heck yeah, I have been dealing with his boring personality for 4 years. 4 years of pretending I care about freight routes and logistics. Do you know how many times I've had to sit through dinner with his family while they talk about trucking? I want to die every time. Laughter rippled from several sources. I silenced the engine, remained seated, absorbing every word. But isn't his name going on the house, too? A different speaker, perhaps Alexis, part of their group. Yeah, but my dad says there are ways around that after we get married, especially if I can document that he's never home or that I contributed more. His lawyer friend said, I just need to wait until after the wedding, then file for divorce and take the house in the settlement. Clean and simple. My grip tightened, a numbness spreading through my palms. That's ruthless, Taryn remarked, though amusement colored her words. It's strategic. Look, he makes decent money, but he's maxed out. Distribution manager, that's it. That's his ceiling. He's got zero ambition. Meanwhile, I'm building my brand. My following is growing. Once I'm a divorced homeowner in my late 20s posting about my glow-up, my engagement rate is going to explode. That's the kind of content that goes viral. How many followers you at now? Alexis inquired. About 5,100. But once I post about leaving dead weight and living my truth, I'm predicting 10,000 easy. Maybe 15,000 if I play it right. Single woman homeowner thriving after divorce. That's literally content gold. More shared mirth filled the space. I just sat there, couldn't move, couldn't process. When are you planning to leave him? Taryn again. I'm thinking like 6 months after the wedding. Long enough that it doesn't look suspicious. Short enough that I'm still in my 20s when I'm back on the market. And here's the best part. I'm going to dump him publicly at some dinner or party with both our families there. Just announce it in front of everyone and watch him fall apart. Oh my God, that's evil. But Alexis was cackling. He's going to cry. You know how emotional he gets about everything. Remember when his childhood dog died? He was a mess for like a month. Imagine his face when I tell him I never loved him and only used him to get a house. The content practically writes itself. What if he fights you for the house? Taryn asked. With what? My dad's friend is a shark. Plus, I've been documenting everything. Every time he works late, I'm marking it as neglect. Every time he goes out with his friends, that's abandonment. By the time we're done, he'll be lucky if he keeps his truck. You're diabolical, Alexis said. I'm honestly impressed. I'm just smart. You don't get ahead by being nice. You get ahead by being strategic. And I've been strategic for 4 years straight. Once that house is mine, I'm dumping his pathetic, boring self in front of everyone and living my best life. They kept talking, but I stopped listening. I started my truck back up, pulled out of the parking lot, drove to a coffee shop a few blocks away, and just sat there. 4 years of dating this woman, planning a future, buying a house, getting married, and it was all a scam. A long con for real estate and Instagram followers. The thing is, I wasn't mad anymore because Sloane had made one critical error. She told her friends about the plan before she secured the house, which meant I knew everything, which meant I could act first. I pulled out my phone, texted Sloane, running late. Won't be back until 6:00. Have fun with your friends. She responded immediately. Okay, babe, love you, just having girl talk. Girl talk, right? I sat in that parking lot for 2 hours making a plan. Then I drove home. The friends were gone. Sloane was in the kitchen humming to herself, looking through paint samples on her phone. She kissed me when I walked in. Hey, how was your day? Fine, boring paperwork. I'm so excited for the bank meeting. We're so close to being homeowners. Homeowners plural, like she actually meant it. Listen, I said, I've been thinking. Maybe we should hold off on the house. Her face changed. What, why? Just for a few months. Make sure we're really ready. It's a big commitment. We already made an offer. They accepted. We can't just back out. We can't. We haven't signed anything final yet. We'd lose the earnest money, but that's only like $5,000 total. That's our money. We can't just throw it away. Better than rushing into something we're not ready for. Her eyes narrowed. Where is this coming from? Just cold feet about the timing. We can still do it. Just maybe wait until after the wedding. Make sure everything's solid. She stared at me. Is this about money? Because I told you I'd pay you back my half eventually. It's not about money. It's about making sure we're both on the same page. She crossed her arms. I'm on the same page. I thought you were too. I am. I just want to be careful. She wasn't happy, but she dropped it. We ate dinner in silence. She left around 9:00 to go back to her place. The next morning, I called the real estate agent. I need to back out of the offer. Are you sure? You'll lose your earnest money deposit. I'm sure. Send me the paperwork. What about your fiancée? She'll get the paperwork too. Tell her I made the call. All right, I'll process it today. Next, I called my mom. Can you set up a family dinner for Friday night? Both families somewhere nice. Sure, honey, what's the occasion? I'll explain Friday, just make sure everyone's there. Sloane's parents, too. Is everything okay? It will be. Then I texted Sloane. My mom wants to do a family dinner Friday. Both families celebrate the engagement properly. You free? She texted back immediately. Yes, that's so sweet. Where? That steakhouse in Manhattan your mom likes. 700 p.m. Perfect, I'll wear my new dress. I'm sure she would. Friday came. I got to the restaurant at 6:45. Upscale steakhouse in Midtown. White tablecloths, mood lighting, $100 in tray, the kind of place you go for special occasions. My family arrived first. Mom, Dad, my brothers Rowan and Levi with their wives. They took one side of the big table we'd reserved. Sloane's parents showed up at 6:55. Her mom, Valentine, in a nice dress, her dad, Robert, in a suit looking like he'd come straight from a sales presentation. Sloane arrived at exactly 7:00. She was wearing a tight black dress, heels full makeup, hair curled. She looked good. She'd obviously planned this outfit for maximum Instagram potential. She made the rounds, hugged my mom, kissed my dad on the cheek, complimented my sisters-in-law on their outfits, chatted with her own parents, played the perfect future daughter-in-law and loving fiancée. We all sat down. Sloane sat next to me, put her hand on my leg under the table, smiled at everyone like this was the happiest night of her life. I waited until everyone had food in front of them, took a sip of my water, set down my fork. So I wanted everyone here tonight because I have an announcement. The table went quiet. Everyone looked at me. Sloane's face lit up. She probably thought I was about to announce a wedding date or some romantic gesture, more content for the gram. Sloane and I are done. The engagement is off. I'm breaking up with her right now. You could have heard a pin drop. Sloane's smile froze, then melted. What? We're over. I'm ending this. The engagement, the relationship, all of it. Her face went through about 15 different expressions in 3 seconds. Confusion, shock, anger, embarrassment. You're what? Is this a joke? Not a joke. Earlier this week I overheard you and your friends at my apartment. You were planning to use me to get the house, then divorce me 6 months after the wedding and take everything. You called me pathetic, called me boring, said you'd been pretending to care about me for 4 years. Said my only purpose was helping you get a house so you could post about your divorce, glow up, and gain Instagram followers. The color drained from her face. You planned to dump me publicly in front of both families just like this to watch me fall apart for content. You wanted to see me cry. Well, congratulations. You get the public breakup, just not the way you planned it. My mom's face stayed calm, but I could see the anger in her eyes. My dad's jaw was set. My brothers looked at Sloane like she was something they'd scrape off their shoe. Sloane's mother stood up, mouth open. Robert's face had gone red. He looked down at his plate, couldn't meet anyone's eyes. Sloane started, stopped. Her voice cracked. You were spying on me. My window was open. You were in my parking lot planning real estate fraud. Not exactly Fort Knox-level security on your end. I wasn't. That's not what you told Taryn and Alexis. That I was maxed out career-wise. That I had zero ambition. That sitting through dinner with my family made you want to die. That once the house was in your name, you were done with my pathetic self. Those were your exact words. Robert closed his eyes, put his hand over his face. We're done. The engagement is over. I already backed out of the house, and you should probably leave. You're humiliating me, she whispered in front of everyone. You were planning to do worse. I'm just saving myself the trouble of waiting 6 months. My brother Rowan crossed his arms. Unbelievable. Levi shook his head, cold. My mom's voice was ice. I think you should go, Sloane. Valentine grabbed her purse, hands shaking. This is Robert. We're leaving. Robert stood up slowly. He looked at me once. His face was pure shame. Then he looked at Sloane with disappointment that could have filled the restaurant. Let's go. They left. Sloane's mom had her arm around Sloane's shoulders. Sloane was crying now. Mascara definitely running, stumbling in her heels. Robert walked 3 steps behind them, shoulders hunched. The door closed behind them. The table stayed silent for a moment. My dad cleared his throat. Well, that was dramatic. Yeah. My mom picked up her fork. All right, then. My brother Rowan leaned back in his chair. Dude, what the heck? You could have just broken up with her privately, his wife said. She was planning to do it publicly to me to humiliate me for Instagram content. I just beat her to it. Levi whistled, "That's cold." My mom squeezed my hand. "You did the right thing. That girl would have destroyed you." I know. I drove home. I got back to my apartment around 11:00. There were 3 boxes of Sloane's stuff in my living room. Clothes, toiletries, random junk she'd left over the months. I'd packed it all Wednesday night after backing out of the house. I grabbed the boxes, took them downstairs, put them on the curb outside my building. Then I went back upstairs, locked the door, and went to bed. Saturday morning, I woke up to 43 missed calls. 17 from Sloane, 12 from her mom, 8 from unknown numbers that were probably her friends, 6 from her dad. I ignored all of them, made coffee, checked my phone for messages. Sloane had texted me 31 times overnight. The messages ranged from confused to desperate to furious to bargaining. "Please call me. We need to talk. I don't understand. You're making a huge mistake. How could you do this to me? Call me now. I love you. Please. You're going to regret this. Everyone thinks you're insane." I blocked her number. Then I checked Instagram. She'd posted a photo of herself crying in her old bedroom. Caption: "When the person you trusted most destroys your entire life for no reason. Stay strong, Queens. You deserve better than someone who quits when things get real." Comments were flooded with support from her followers. "His loss, you're too good for him, glow up time, he'll regret this." I blocked her on Instagram and Facebook and every other platform. Around noon, someone buzzed my apartment. I checked the camera. Sloane standing there in sweatpants and a hoodie. Eyes puffy, no makeup, holding a coffee cup like it was the only thing keeping her alive. With her was Taryn. Same Taryn who'd been at my apartment egging her on about the master plan. She looked angry, arms crossed, jaw set. I pressed the intercom button. "What do you want?" Sloane's voice came through shaky. "I need to get my stuff. I know you threw my boxes outside. People took them. I need what's left." "Should have grabbed them when you had the chance." Tran leaned into the intercom. "Stop being a child and let her get her things. She has a right to her belongings." She had a right to her belongings when I put them outside. In boxes, not my fault if someone took free stuff off the curb. "You can't just steal someone's property," Taryn said. "I didn't steal anything. I removed her stuff from my apartment and made it available for pickup. She didn't pick it up. That's on her." Sloane's voice cracked. "Please, I just want my things. Then I'll leave you alone, I promise." I stood there looking at the monitor thinking. Part of me wanted to tell them both to leave and never come back, but another part of me wanted to twist the knife a little deeper. Remind Sloane exactly who she tried to scam. "Fine, 5 minutes, that's it. You take what's yours and you leave." I buzzed them up. They came to my door a minute later. I opened it but stood in the doorway blocking entry. "Where's my stuff?" Sloane asked. "Whatever's left is in the closet by the bathroom. You've got 5 minutes, touch nothing else." They walked in. Sloane went straight to the closet, started pulling out clothes, a pair of shoes, some makeup bag. Taryn stood in the living room, looking around like she was casing the place. "This is a nice apartment," Taryn said. "Must be tough knowing you're going to die alone in it." I ignored her, watched Sloane stuff things into a garbage bag she'd brought. "You know, she really did love you," Taryn continued. "She made a mistake. People make mistakes." People make mistakes. Sloane made a 4-year plan to commit fraud. There's a difference. "You're so dramatic." She was just venting to her friends. Everyone talks trash about their partner sometimes. Talking trash is saying someone's annoying. Planning to steal a house and publicly humiliate someone for social media content is something else entirely. Sloane came back into the living room holding the garbage bag. Her eyes were red. I got what I needed. "Great, time to leave." "I'm sorry," she said quietly, "for everything. I know I messed up. You're sorry you got caught, not sorry for what you did. Big difference." Tran stepped closer to me. "You know what? You're not some perfect victim here. You're a boring, bitter person who probably drove her to say those things. Maybe if you had any personality, she wouldn't have needed to plan an exit strategy." I looked at her, really looked at her. "You're mad because you encouraged your friend to commit fraud and it blew up in both your faces. Now she's humiliated and you look like a terrible person for supporting her. That's what's actually happening here. Whatever helps you. Sleep at night." "I sleep fine. How's Sloane sleeping? Knowing she threw away 4 years in a house because she couldn't keep her mouth shut. Sloane's face crumpled, fresh tears. That's low, Taryn said. You know what's low? Planning to watch someone cry when you destroy their life. Planning to document it for Instagram engagement. That's low, I'm just stating facts. Sloane wiped her face. You're really not going to forgive me. Nope. You're going to regret this. You're going to realize what you lost, and you're going to regret it. I already know what I lost. A manipulative liar with delusions of influence or grandeur. I'm at peace with that loss. Tran grabbed Sloane's arm. Come on, he's not worth it, let's go. They headed for the door. Sloane stopped, turned around. You think you're so smart. You think you won, but you're going to end up alone and miserable. And you'll know it's because you couldn't forgive one mistake. And you'll end up living with your parents at 30 posting thirst traps for engagement, while everyone from high school watches your life fall apart. We all make choices. Taryn's eyes narrowed. Careful, you might want to watch your back. Is that a threat? It's advice. Things happen to people who treat others like garbage. Good to know. Now get out of my apartment. They left. I watched them walk down the hallway, heard them start arguing before they even reached the elevator. Something about Sloane being stupid for apologizing. Something about me being insufferable. I closed the door, locked it, went back to my coffee. Around 6 p.m., I needed to run to the store, grabbed my keys, headed downstairs to the parking lot. That's when I saw it. My truck, my beautiful 2019 Dodge Ram, 1500 black, lifted nice wheels. The pride and joy I'd bought 2 years ago and kept pristine. The driver's side panel was destroyed. Deep scratches running the entire length, not random scratches. A word jerk carved into the paint in foot-high letters. The metal underneath exposed the damage deep and deliberate. I stood there, stared at my truck, felt something cold settle in my chest. I pulled out my phone, opened the security camera app for the parking lot. My building had cameras covering the whole area. Rewound to 1 hour ago. 5:00 p.m. there, Sloane's silver Honda Civic pulling into the lot, parking 3 spots away from my truck. Sloane getting out, looking around nervous. Taryn getting out of the passenger side. They stood there, talking, Taryn pointing at the truck, gesturing, Sloane shaking her head. Taryn grabbing her shoulder, saying something that made Sloane nod. Then Sloane pulled out her car key and went to work. I watched her carve each letter, taking her time, making sure they were deep, making sure they couldn't be buffed out. Taryn standing guard, watching the lot, making sure nobody saw. When Sloane finished, they both stepped back, admired their work like it was art. Taryn took a photo with her phone, probably for evidence of their revenge, probably to show their other friends. Then they got back in the Honda and left. I saved the video to my phone, downloaded it, backed it up to 3 different clouds. Then I called a body shop. How much to fix deep key scratches? Whole driver's side panel needs repainting. Depends on the vehicle and extent of damage. Probably looking at $2,500 to $3,500. Thanks. I hung up, pulled out my work phone, the one Sloane didn't have blocked yet. I texted her. I have HD security footage of you and Taryn keying my truck at 5:00 p.m. today. Shows your faces, shows your license plate, shows everything. You have 24 hours to Venmo me $3,000 for repairs, or I'm filing a police report for criminal mischief and vandalism. Your choice. 3 minutes later, my work phone rang. Sloane, I answered, 24 hours. You can't prove that was me. I literally just told you I have HD security footage. Want me to email it to you so you can watch yourself commit a crime? Silence. That's I don't know what you're talking about, Sloane. I watched the whole thing. You tan your car, your license plate, you keying my truck. While she stood watch, then her taking a photo of it. I have all of it. Time-stamped crystal clear. Her breath caught, this is blackmail. No, this is me giving you the option to make this right before involving law enforcement. You have 24 hours to send me $3,000. If I don't have it by this time tomorrow, I'm taking the footage to the police. They'll charge you with criminal mischief, vandalism, maybe even conspiracy since Taryn was clearly helping. You'll have a record. Good luck getting real influencer deals with a criminal record. I don't have $3,000. You should have thought of that before vandalizing my property. 24 hours. Sloane, don't contact me again unless it's to confirm payment. I hung up. 20 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Venmo notification. Sloan had sent me 3,000. The payment note said, "You're a horrible person." I accepted the payment, didn't respond. Then I looked out my window down at the parking lot. Sloan's Honda was there, parked in a visitor spot. Sloan and Taryn were both standing next to it, having what looked like a very heated conversation. Sloan was gesturing wildly, pointing at the building, probably at my window. Taryn was yelling back, pointing at Sloan, jabbing her finger into Sloan's chest. Then Sloan shoved her. Taryn stumbled back, caught herself, looked shocked for a second, then she shoved Sloan back hard. Sloan fell against the car. They started screaming at each other. I couldn't hear the words, but the body language was clear. Sloan was crying. Taryn was furious. Sloan kept pointing at her phone, probably showing the Venmo payment, probably blaming Taryn for the whole thing. Taryn got in her own car. A beat-up Toyota slammed the door, drove off without looking back. Sloan stood there alone in the parking lot crying, holding her phone, looking up at my building like she wanted to say something. Then she got in her Honda and left too. I closed the blinds, sat down on my couch, checked my phone one more time. Sloan had sent another text to my work phone. "I hope you're happy. You just destroyed a 4-year friendship." I blocked the number, deleted the message, made myself dinner, put on a movie, had a completely peaceful evening. Wednesday evening, I was watching TV when my buzzer went off. I checked the camera, expecting to see Sloan again. Instead, I saw Taryn, one of the two friends from the overheard conversation, the one who'd called Sloan diabolical with admiration. She was wearing a low-cut top and jeans that looked painted on hair-down makeup, done full seduction mode. I pressed the intercom. "What do you want?" "Hey, can we talk? I wanted to apologize for everything." "You can apologize from there." "Come on, it's cold out here. Just 5 minutes, please." Against my better judgment, I buzzed her up. She knocked on my door a minute later. I opened it but didn't let her in, just stood in the doorway. So she gave me this smile, the kind that probably worked on guys at clubs. I wanted to say I'm sorry about everything. Sloan was wrong. What she did was messed up. "Okay, apology noted. You can go." "Can I come in just for a minute?" "No." She bit her lip, shifted her weight so her hip jutted out. "Look, I feel really bad about this whole thing. I should have told her to be honest with you." "I should have. You should have not encouraged her to commit fraud, but here we are." "I know I messed up." She put her hand on the door frame, leaned in slightly. "Maybe I could make it up to you, buy you dinner, hang out." Oh, this was hilarious. "You're trying to seduce me." She smiled wider. "I'm trying to apologize properly by sleeping with me. I mean, if that's where things go naturally." I actually laughed. "Let me get this straight. Your friend tried stealing a house from me. You called it genius. I dumped her. She keyed my truck. And now you show up dressed like a bottle service girl thinking what I'd be grateful. What's the play? Finishing what she started or just hoping I'm dumb enough to fall for round 2? Her face flushed. "It's not like that." "It's exactly like that. Honestly, this is embarrassing for you. The sheer audacity of showing up here looking like a spirit Halloween costume, thinking you're smooth. I'm not interested in dinner or you. In whatever clearance rack version of manipulation this is, you can leave." She dropped the smile. "You're really going to be alone forever because of this. Better alone than whatever this sad attempt is. Get out." She rolled her eyes, turned to leave, got about 3 steps down the hall. That's when Sloan came around the corner. Oh, this was about to be good. Sloan stopped dead, stared at Taryn, looked at my apartment door, looked back at Taryn. "What are you doing here?" Taryn froze. I came to talk to him about you to try to fix things." "What's wrong with my outfit? You're dressed like you're going to a club to fix things for me." "I just wanted to talk to him, woman to woman." Sloan's voice went flat. "You were trying to hook up with him." "No, I was trying to help you by throwing yourself at my ex-fiancé the second we break up." "He's not your fiancé anymore. You said so yourself." Oh man, this was better than anything on TV. They were both in the hallway now, voices getting louder. I stood in my doorway, watching like it was pay-per-view. "I can't believe you," Sloan said. "I'm going through the worst time of my life and you're trying to sleep with him. Maybe if you hadn't been stupid enough to talk about your plans where he could hear you, none of this would have happened." So this is my fault. Yeah, actually it is. You got greedy, you got caught. Now you're broken, single, and living with your parents. Meanwhile, I'm... Sloane slapped her, just straight up slapped. Her across the face hard. Taryn's head snapped to the side. She stood there for a second, shocked. Then she slapped Sloane back even harder. Sloane stumbled, caught herself on the wall, touched her face, looked at her hand like she expected to see blood. Then she lunged at Taryn. They started grappling, grabbing hair, slapping wildly, yelling things like, "You're a terrible friend and you're a psycho." I pulled out my phone, started recording. They knocked into the wall. Someone's shoe came off. Sloane's purse spilled everywhere. Taryn was trying to push Sloane's face away, while Sloane pulled her hair. It lasted maybe 20 seconds before they separated. Both of them breathing hard, hair messed up, faces red. "Stay away from him," Sloane yelled. "Why, you don't want him? That doesn't mean you get to have him. This is insane. You're insane. Get out, get away from me." Taryn grabbed her shoe, shoved it back on. "You're pathetic, you know that. You had everything and you screwed it up. Don't blame me because you're a mess." She stormed off toward the stairs. Sloane stood there breathing hard, mascara running again. She looked at me. "This is all your fault." "Pretty sure it's your fault. I'm just standing here enjoying the show. You turned everyone against me." "Nah, you did that yourself. I just stopped pretending I didn't notice." "I loved you." "No, you loved the house I could buy you. Big difference. Huge, actually." She picked up her purse, started shoving stuff back into it. Lipstick, wallet, her phone with a cracked screen. "You're going to regret this," she said. "You keep saying that. Still waiting. Might be a while." She stood up, looked at me with pure hatred. "I hope you end up alone. Still better than ending up with you. That's saying something." She left, took the stairs because the elevator was apparently too slow for her dramatic exit. I closed my door, locked it, saved the video to my phone. Then I made myself some food and thought about my next move because Sloane wasn't going to stop. The girl who keyed my truck and tried to send her friend to seduce me wasn't going to just disappear quietly. I needed to make sure she couldn't come back. I filed for a restraining order Thursday morning. Brought all my evidence, security footage of the truck, keying the video files with timestamps, Venmo receipts showing the 3,000 payment screenshots of the threatening texts, everything organized in a folder. Clerk looked through it all and said it was one of the most documented cases she'd seen. Got the temporary order same day. Judge signed off within hours. Sloane had to stay 500 FT away or face arrest. Her mom kept calling my work, trying to paint me as the bad guy, saying I'd broken her daughter's heart and ruined her life over nothing. My boss sat down with me, asked for the full story. I showed him everything the overheard conversation details. The truck damaged the evidence. He backed me completely, even sent an email to HR documenting it in case Sloane tried anything with my employment. Her dad called 2 days later. That conversation was different. Robert sounded exhausted, said he had no idea what Sloane was planning and was horrified when he found out the full extent. Apologized for not raising her better. Said she was moving back home because she couldn't afford her place anymore and they were going to figure out what went wrong. He sounded genuinely ashamed, as he should be. 3 weeks later, the full hearing happened. Sloane showed up with some public defender who looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. He tried saying I was overreacting, that she just wanted closure and to retrieve her belongings. Made it sound like I was the crazy ex who couldn't let go. I laid out all my evidence. Security footage of her keying the truck, time-stamped video showing both her and Taryn. The Venmo payment with her note calling me horrible. Screenshots of threatening messages. The judge's face got harder with each piece of evidence. Her lawyer tried to argue she was emotional and made poor choices after a traumatic breakup. Judge wasn't buying it. Asked Sloane directly if she damaged my property. She tried to deny it. Judge literally played the security footage on the courtroom screen. You could see her face clearly. She went silent. Judge called it criminal mischief, trespassing, and vandalism. Granted the restraining order for 2 years. Said if she violated it even once, she'd face immediate arrest and criminal charges. Sloane walked out of that courthouse looking like her world ended. After court, I checked her Instagram out of curiosity. The account was basically dead. She deleted most of her posts, all the house stuff, all the engagement photos, most of the influencer content down to about 3,400 followers. The recent posts were just sad. One photo of a sunset with starting over as the caption. 12 likes, 3 comments, all from relatives saying, "Stay strong, sweetie." The influencer dream was over. The house was gone. The relationship was done. And she had a restraining order on her record that would show up on background checks. If you've ever faced a betrayal like this, or know someone who has, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments below and let's support each other through these stories. And if this touched your heart, give it a like to show you understand the emotions here and share it with a friend who might need to hear it today. What do you think the future holds for everyone involved? Share your ideas in the comments, and remember to tap the bell icon so you're notified of our next heartfelt tale.